Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll continue on in my read-through of Dragon Ball Z by Akira Toriyama. I now actually have read the first 3 volumes of Dragon Ball, so for those of you who are telling me, oh my god, why are you reading Dragon Ball Z, read Dragon Ball. Sean had the collection of all 3 of them in like one omnibus thing that he gave me when I visited to get the art for Bound scanned. So I have read that. I see why everyone says that's the far superior product. I agree in terms of art and just pure entertainment and humor. It's quite a bit better. But this is the one I have on hand because we bought it for Jack. And as I've said in all the other videos, Dragon Ball Z seems to be the one that, like, since I deal with so many students who are into this kind of thing as an art teacher, they don't talk about Dragon Ball much. They talk about Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super and Super Saiyans and all of that. So I really want to understand why this is such a popular property. And even though I'll admit I am struggling a bit, it is verifying some of my preformed opinions about what this product probably is. I am enjoying just knowing what it is because I interact with so many kids who base everything they do on this one manga. I still haven't figured it out exactly why yet, and the longer I read and the more my biases get confirmed, the more confused I am. But I'm determined to finish this series of videos and finish this series, and then go back and read the rest of the original Dragon Ball. I think as an artist, it's our duty to pay attention to the things that get ridiculously large in culture. There's a reason for it, even if you don't like the product. And I really do feel, at least, that it's my duty as an artist to stay in touch with the zeitgeist and understand it as well as I can. I know Dragon Ball Z is now a little bit old. I probably should have read it earlier for the zeitgeist kind of assessment. But I like that. I think it's important for artists to understand what's in the air, and then you can make your own thing of it. So I need to understand this. I need to try and figure it out. In volume 13 here, we basically moved now, thank goodness, past the Frieza saga, and we're dealing with a new enemy. We've had, what's the guy's name? I don't remember the dude's name. Hammer or something like something like that. Someone come from the future and has told all of our heroes that there's a year from now, there's going to be, or 3 years from now or whatever, there's going to be these androids that are going to destroy everything, and so we got to go fight them. There's time travel involved now, which is always a turnoff for me. But we have our 2 androids here. I really like the design on these guys quite a bit better than the designs on a lot of the previous villains. I think Toriyama's going back to his real skill as a cartoonist here, which became even more obvious when I read the actual Dragon Ball, that he is a cartoonist and a humorist. He is not an action artist, and it shows in Dragon Ball Z, his struggle with action, I think. But including some of these characters that are like a pudgier character or skinnier character, he's not going with the muscle-bound guys. His design sensibility seems to come back. So we've got these cool androids here. The androids are especially dangerous to the people that they're fighting because they can absorb their energy. So like Goku throws a big, energy blast chi ball, and this robot just absorbs it right into his hand. And you can see that Toriyama, when he's dealing with these characters that aren't muscle-bound characters here, it's all these kind of like straight, stiff lines. The figures feel almost like he's referencing action figures. As soon as he's allowed to work with a overweight character or a really skinny character, he's got bouncier lines, his action works better, his sense of anatomy, his foreshortening, like everything just gets more rubbery and exciting. And I think that's really apparent here with the design of this character. The faces are more interesting. He's allowed to go like with that kind of Makoto Kobayashi rubberiness of the face that you don't really get on these angular faces of the buff hero guys. This volume also kind of sees this return of Vegeta, So another like, oh my God, we just don't ever get rid of anybody. Nobody ever dies. It's interesting that the enemies are always getting turned into like reluctant friends. That's a kind of interesting message along the way that I think is, if my students are taking that message out of it, then it's a pretty good message, I guess. But now Vegeta also can apparently be a Super Saiyan. So even though there was only supposed to be one, now apparently there's three. Because this character here, whose name I'm not remembering, I don't remember what this guy's name is, Hammer. But this is Vegeta's kid from the future come back and has warned them, and he's also apparently a Super Saiyan. So now we've got at least 3 Super Saiyans, even though it's only supposed to be 1. And it seems a bit like they're going to be competing for who is the Super Saiyan that's the messiah of the Saiyans. So that seems to be like a larger plot that's working out. But this volume's hard to say much about other than just kind of touching the big plot points, because it's another one of these where it's just people out in like a rocky desert valley showing off their powers and shouting at each other and arguing about who's the strongest, and it's just kind of fight stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how much I'll have to say about most of these volumes, given that they tend to just be big fight scenes. But I'm going to keep going. I want to see what it is. I want to see why this is so popular. I will say that when Jack was here this summer, I was talking to him about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and like, hey, bro, I started reading this. Why do you like it so much? And I was asking him about like the characters keep coming back, and he at 13 has already. When he was 12, he was all about it. 10, super all about it. By 13, he was kind of like, yeah, like, it gets boring after a while because people die and they come back and they die and come back. So, like, you just wind up not really caring. So, it's interesting to see that already at 13, he'd gotten a little sick of the structure of it. So, I don't know what it is that keeps, like, by the people are like 18, 19, 20, 21 in my classes, and they're still obsessed and texting and having conversations on the phone about the latest thing in Dragon Ball or whatever. I'm still not seeing it. So if people in the comments can help me, what is it that makes this, as it says in the advertising, the world's most popular manga, the world's most popular anime? I'm not seeing it yet.